because we turned out in 2020, we achieved the lowest unemployment rate for Latinos in a long, long time. We cut Hispanic child poverty to record lows. We lowered the health care costs. We made historic investments in Latino small businesses.
Welcome back. President Biden and his reelection campaign have been clear they need Latino support. This November, several polls in recent months have revealed an increasing number of Latino voters preferring former President Donald Trump. So to discuss this, let's bring in CBS News political director Fin Gómez and Democratic strategist Chuck Rocha. Great to have you both here at the table. Chuck, do you buy this belief that Democratic support among Latinos is diminishing in some way?
Well, it all depends what state you're looking at. The presidential election will not be run nationwide, even though the election will be nationwide. 70% of Latinos live in Florida, Texas, California, New York, Chicago, and not either one of the presidential campaigns will spend a dollar there to talk to any Latinos. But the Latino vote matters a lot in Arizona, in Nevada, in Philadelphia. So those polling numbers is what I watch because that's where we're spending money to try to convince them to vote for me. So when you take a national poll, you're taking on a lot of Latinos who haven't heard from anyone. So I think that's why you see a little differentiation in what the numbers say.
You have seen erosion in those states that Chuck talks about. You have seen erosion from the Latino support in Nevada, in Arizona. Like, remember, Bob, as you know, those states came down to just, in some cases, tens of thousands of votes, 10,000 to 11,000 votes in Arizona. Does Biden have a problem now? I know Chuck's talking about battleground states, so important. But there is a new national poll that came out today, a Pew Research poll that came out today that shows that 44% of Latinos nationally do support or are supporting Donald Trump. There is an issue there that the Biden campaign has to take with. They've tried. They've efforted campaign. They've efforted campaign ads. They've efforted messaging changes, but there's still this erosion that exists. What are they going to do now? That is the big question.
If there is an erosion that's happening, Chuck, why do you believe it's happening? As a political strategist, is it because of economic issues, social issues, something else?
There's a number of things. One thing is we're splintered. When I was a young man, we had TV on 3 channels, and CBS was one of them. Now it's splintered all over the internet. It's hard to reach Latinos. The average age of a Latino is 27. We love to compare them to white voters and to black voters, and the average age of both of those voters are 44. So they're consuming differently, so they're harder to reach. And what you're seeing is a population come of age in a splintered media society.
But is there an issue that's pushing some of them right?
No, it's actually just getting to them. They know Donald Trump. That's why they only act that way with Donald Trump, because they all know him, because everybody knows him. I think it'll be much different when it's not a Donald Trump.
What's the Trump campaign's read based on your conversations with people close to the campaign?
Like they are saying that they know they're not going to win a majority of Latino voters. They understand that. But they need to just peel enough off the margins in places, again, like Arizona and Nevada, even Wisconsin, where we've seen an increase of Latino population there since the pandemic, North Carolina as well, because of the job opportunities there. But they feel that they can pull off enough that they can be competitive or even win. And I think they're setting their sights primarily on Arizona and Nevada, and they feel very strongly that Florida has turned too much to the right for them to be worried about that in November.
Latino voters, not a monolith, right?
Not at all, no.
Look at here. There's not a monolith right here. Me and Finn are both Latino. We couldn't be more different the way we just talk, or our fashion styles. Either way, we're very different. It's just like a voter.
I'm slightly better looking, but yes.
Whatever. We can argue that all day long. But when you talk about the voter, Texas voters, cowboy hats, buckles like me, but that Latino voter on the south side of Milwaukee is a newer immigrant. They're even younger than 27. So running your campaign, I think this is what Joe Biden's getting right. He's starting earlier. People give me lots of credit for Bernie Sanders and what we pulled off with Bernie. We started earlier. We expanded the target list, and that's what Joe Biden's done now. Every Democrat got a wake-up call 8 years ago when Joe Biden overperformed with Latinos, and now they're trying to right the ship, and I think they're headed down the right direction.
They have time. They do have time. That's something that, 6.5 months out, they're spending, again, millions of dollars on Latinos, on Spanglish ads, which is something that is really unique. As the Latino electorate changes, you see more of that. So, the thing is, again, looking at these polls, if you're in Wilmington, if you're a top Democrat, there should be some concern as to how they play this with just 6.5 months left.
Do you believe former President Trump could pick a Latino to be on the ticket?
It would be smart. And the Trump bothers me every single day as a Democrat. He's an anomaly, but he's in a powerful anomaly where everybody knows him. We've talked about this. It takes a certain amount of money to build a name ID of a candidate where everybody knows you. He already has that. That's why being in a courtroom in New York City doesn't really hurt him because they already know him. And then when you sprinkle in that he's talking about jobs in America, talking about the rigged system and things that he don't believe in, but he says because he knows that resonates with Latinos.
And also there's an increase in small businesses since the pandemic that are like, I think it was about 35 to 40% are Latino owners. The new launches since 2019. That says something. And there's also this nostalgia for Trump that you do hear in some pockets of Latino voters, nostalgia of his economy from 2019. They often, sort of forget or erase 2020 as well with the pandemic, but there is some of that you're seeing in some of these battleground states, Bob.
Latinos will be the biggest marginal universe in all of the country when it comes to who is the persuadable voters. They just have a bigger impact because they're concentrated where their votes mean the most.
Yeah, and I think a lot of Democrats, as Chuck just said, feel that they will come home. But, ultimately, when it gets closer to the election, we get closer to November, they will see the contrast between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, and they will come home and rely on things like immigration. His position on immigration as opposed to Donald Trump and other issues.
Fin Gómez, Chuck Rocha, thank you so much for swinging by America Decides. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Bob.